everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. I'm pretty sure this is a second publication. The original title of the novel, I believe, is Are You Watching? I think I like 14 Ways to Die a little bit more. And it's been called a mystery thriller, whodunit, for the technological age. There were things I liked about this book, and then there were things that I was just like, ugh, can we move on? So let's talk about what I did like first and foremost. So what I liked here was the overall concept of the story. So you have Jess, right? Her mother was murdered 10 years ago by the Magpie Man. In fact, her mother was his very first victim. And it's a cold case. Her mother's murder has yet to be solved. So for her, she thinks that people have just stopped kind of caring. He's on to his 13th victim now. 14th. He kills, I believe it's every 9 months. I think I only remember that detail because I'm 36 weeks. I'm almost at the finish line. I think that's why I remember. So every 9 months he does end up killing someone. I think it's enough time that we've gotten to this point, right? Of there being 13, 14 victims. So she feels like people are just not caring anymore. That her mother's murder is just going to remain unsolved. And her mother's murder really broke up her and her father. Now, I will say this for the characterization. I like how we got to see how fractured her family was. How her grandmother stepped in, how her father has kind of become lost. It's understandable, it's realistic, it's well written, especially when you have that dynamic between father and daughter as well. I think it was very well constructed. I think it did fit the story very well, how they may be broken, but there's still this undeniable unity between them as father and daughter. So she enters a contest. Jess enters a contest to be on this YouTube reality show where she's filmed once a week. She's going to be Monday, right? She's filmed once a week, and she wants to use this platform to catch the Magpie Man. She wants to draw out witnesses. She wants to connect with other victims who have lost loved ones. She wants to bring this monster to justice, even if it means becoming, her mother aesthetically, and just insulting the Magpie Man. So, it's very relevant, I think, to the modern age, because nowadays you can't really, we live in our phones, we live on our tablets, we live on our computers. We very much do live in this technology age where we're just constantly, we tell stories on TikTok on Instagram, on Facebook. We use it to connect with, we use it for work. We use it for personal banking. We use it for, especially after, COVID, it was our only way to communicate with friends and loved ones after a time. For me, COVID launched Sin's workshop here on YouTube because I'm like, let me just do something with my time. And so I did, and this is where we are. This is where we're at. Did my own YouTube channel. So you see, it's really relevant. That's why I do like the concept of this story. I did find it to be very relevant, and I applaud Jess for taking the initiative. Like, I need to do something. I feel like nothing's being done. Let me do something. And what she's doing isn't just some reckless investigation. She is trying to connect with people emotionally so that they can help her bring this killer to justice. So I think that that's a really good concept for the story. I think it's really interesting, and I do think it does offer the reader something relatable to read. Now, what did not work for me? Gosh, I kind of, midway through the story, I was getting bored. You never want to get bored when you're reading a mystery thriller. And I think the reason I was getting bored was because a lot of the chapters are, sometimes they're just half a page, just a couple paragraphs, that's it. So you would think the pacing would be a little bit quicker. We're following Jess around, in her journey. But her whole narrative starts to sound very repetitive as far as the story's concerned. It's just more of the same, and it made me start caring less and less about her. Just being stuck in her head. I think it didn't work as well as I'd wanted it to, just because it was starting to feel very repetitive. I wanted higher tension. I wanted quicker pacing. Midway through the story, I was like, I still have a whole 200 pages to go? Really? What the heck is going to happen? What's going to happen? That was my feeling for it, because I was just like, oh my God. Can we just get on with it? Can we just get on with it? That was me. I'm like, ugh. But I did it. I read it. No biggie. I did, but I wasn't really reading for Jess after a point. I really did stop caring about her character just because she started to sound very repetitive to me. I continued reading it because at this point I was just like, okay. I just kind of want to know, who is it? I will say this for the story. That last couple of chapters where the revelation does come up. It is very fast-paced. It is lots of high tension. You really do get to see that dynamic between her and her father just come up to the surface. It's very powerful. It's very emotional. And then you also get to see a very nice conclusion. Not everyone is 100% better, but they're a little less broken. I will say I didn't see that coming. There were so many suspects, and then the one it ended up being, had no idea. Didn't see that guy coming for miles. I was like, what? So I will say this. There is some very good red uses of not really red herrings. No, there are some good red herrings. But the way the story is like layered together to solve this mystery, I thought that was really well done. I just wanted to be stuck less in Jess's head. And I think if I had been stuck less in Jess's head, the pacing and tension would have been more my speed. And I probably would have ended up enjoying the book a little bit more than I actually had. So this is 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 3 out of 5 stars. There are things that worked. There are things that didn't work. Did I ultimately like the story? Yes. I thought it was entertaining. Is it something I would buy for myself? Probably not. I am thankful to the publisher for giving me an arc of the book to read and review. But, to each their own. To each their own. So, on that note, I will say, if you want to go ahead and purchase the book, please support your local bookseller or online book retailer to purchase it. You have bookshop.org, which donates a percentage of all proceeds to an independently owned bookstore near you, and you can even look up independently owned bookstores on that website, and you can look them up on indiebound.com. Just because there's no Barnes & Noble or Books A Million nearby you doesn't mean they cannot ship to you. Please, BarnesandNoble.com, BooksAMillion.com. They ship across the country. Please, all I ask is that you support your bookstores in any capacity that you can versus purchasing your books off of Amazon. There's also Book Outlet. There's thriftbooks.com. There's Better World Books, Book Depository. You've got all of those resources that you can use over Amazon. And I just ask that you utilize them more than Amazon. If money's tight, utilize your local library. You can check out the book from your local library. All you need is a library card. And if you don't have a library card, you can get a digital library card. And if you get the Libby app, which is 100% free, you just need your library card number, and you can get ebooks and audiobooks from them as well. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.